Okay, so to make the desk hooded cowl, we are gonna need 440 yards of super bulky weight yarn. So I'm gonna try out this Yarn Inspirations Bernat Felted. I just found this over at Michael's and thought the colorway was really cute. If you like it, this is Ecru Fleck. It also comes, like, this has a lot of yardage for super bulky. It has 249 yards, so a lot of super bulkies don't quite come with that much, so I'm excited to try this out. Then with the yarn, you're going to need a 10mm hook. This is from Furls and they're marking it as a P. Don't go by the letter. For 10mm hooks, depending on the maker, it can be a different letter, so make sure you're just looking for the 10mm instead. But Furls has the prettiest resin hooks I love using. I'll link to this if you really think this is as beautiful as I do. And then besides that, you'll need some scissors, a yarn needle, and then also some buttons. So we're gonna do 3 buttons on the cowl, and that's totally optional. You can leave it off if you'd like, but I just have a whole array of buttons here, so I'll just pick from this once I finish and see what I like. But the pattern is down below in the description, so go grab that and let's get started. But first, if you like free patterns, free tutorials, and all things free, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so that you never miss out when a new one is released. All right, let's go get going on the pattern. Okay, we're gonna work the cowl from bottom to top. So we're gonna first start working in the round. So we're gonna put a slip knot on our hook, and then we are going to chain 60. So once you get to 60, we'll come back and join that to work in the round. Okay, last chain, chain 60. And now we're going to join this in the round. So I like to kind of run my finger along and make sure that nothing is twisted when I go to join. So I'm just running to make sure it's all facing forward. And then I'm going to bring it around, so even if it twists now, I've already established that it's in one piece facing the same way. So I'm going to flip it around because we need to join in the round. And then I'm going to insert my hook in the first chain. I want to get kind of the back loop here. And then I'm going to slip stitch that to complete my round. Okay, and now we are ready for actually round 1. So for round 1, all we're going to do is half double crochet all the way around. We're going to do a chain 2, and then we're going to half double crochet in that same stitch as the chain 2. So we yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3. We're just going to do that in each stitch around. I'm just going to do the back loop. You can do the bottom bump if you want, but this yarn is pretty fuzzy, so I think it's going to kind of hide if I have any, oops, I need to yarn over. It's going to hide if I'm doing it in the bottom bump or the back loop, and the back loop's just easier to work into. So the first row round is always the hardest because you have to get there and get into those stitches. So I'll see you after 60 of these and we'll join and start round 2. Okay, here I am on my last half double. Now I'm going to join my round, but I want to make sure that I'm not twisted or anything. So I want to take the time and make sure everything is laying the correct way, and then I can go ahead and join with a slip stitch, and I'm going to join it in the first half double. So I'm skipping that chain 2 and working into the first half double for the slip stitch. Okay, so for round 2, we're going to continue going on in the same direction. The round after, we're going to start turning it back and forth, and that's going to keep our seam straight, because for half double crochet, for whatever reason, it does not ever want to be a straight seam when you're working in the round when you're joining. It's just the mechanics of the half double. It does not create a straight seam. And then one other thing we're going to do is a chain 1 instead of a chain 2, and that's because we're going to alternate a half double crochet and a slip stitch. So it's going to be a little shorter, so we don't need the chain 2 to bring it up to height. So what we're going to do for round 2 is chain 1, then we're going to half double crochet in that same stitch as the chain 1. And then we're going to slip stitch loosely. We don't want to do it tight, because if we do it tight, it's just not going to be easy to work into on the next round. It's going to be just a mess. So we're going to slip stitch nice and loose. So kind of pull it up and then just kind of softly pull it through so it's not too tight. And then we're going to half double crochet again. So we're just going to repeat that pattern around. So again, we're going to slip stitch the next stitch, so nice and loose, pull that through, half double, and we're just going to keep on doing that all the way around, and then we'll get to round 3. So I'll see you at the end of this round, where our very last stitch will be a slip stitch. Okay, here I'm at my last stitch, which is going to be a slip stitch. Do that nice and loose, and then we're going to join with a slip stitch in that first half double crochet. All right, so round 2 is complete. So now for round 3, we're going to turn our work so that way we keep our same seam working out. So we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to half double crochet in that same stitch as our join. So with that half double that was originally there, then we're going to do again the slip stitch in the next stitch. So we're still keeping them nice and loose. Then we're going to half double in our next stitch and continue that pattern. So slip stitch in the next stitch, half double in the next. So keep on doing that around, and then we'll come back and explain the rest of the cowl portion, which is just going to be a repeat of this going back and forth. So I'll see you right at the end of this round. Okay, here I am again at my last stitch of round 3. We're going to join with a slip stitch at the top of our half double, and then we're going to do round 4. So you'll see you kind of flip it in and out to be able to work on both sides. And round 4 through 22, we're just repeating round 3. So we're going to do the chain 1, and we're going to half double in that same stitch as our join, and then we're going to do our slip stitches. So make sure, like, you'll see these kind of loops in the front. That's from the previous round, so this is not the stitch to work into. You want to turn it and look for the V's on top. That's where you're working your stitches. So here's my next slip stitch, then my half double. So you're working half doubles and half doubles and slip stitches and slip stitches. So keep on going. We're going to do rounds 4 through 22 while we're watching TV or whatever, and then we'll come back to begin the hood portion. Just remember to turn after every round and you'll be set. So we'll see you at the end of round 22. Okay, we have got the cowl portion of the hooded cowl complete. Now you can really see those slip stitch, kind of how that looks. So very pretty. I like how this yarn is turning out. I really like the pattern it's giving. So I just have one slip stitch left. So after this round, so I'm going to join with a slip stitch. After this round, we are now going to be working in rows. So this is where we're going to make the hood. So it's just going to be working back and forth until we get it to the size that we want it. So we're going to turn our work, flip it inside out so it's easy. And this is really reversible. It tells you, which side is right side, wrong side, but when it's time to sew up, it's not going to make a huge deal which side you sew it. So for rows 1 through 36, because now we're just going to switch to rows so we can keep track, we are going to pretty much do what we've been doing, but we're not joining. So I'm going to do my half double crochet in the same, oops, that did not work correctly. We're going to chain 1, work our half double in the same stitch that we did our slip stitch into. Do our slip stitch. These are always very close together, these last two. Then we're going to keep on going. So we're going to half double, slip stitch, same stuff you've been doing. The only difference is when you get here to the end, we're not joining. So we'll come to the very end and do our turn so you can see how that's working out. Okay, here are my last 2 stitches. And then I'm ready to keep going. So there's like a little gap there, and that's what's going to make our hood. So we're going to turn our work, flip it if you need to, the cowl inside out. Just helps me work a little better. Then we're going to keep on going. So 1 through 36, this is the rest of the pattern before we make an actual hood. So I'm half doubling into that same stitch and slip in. So just keep on going like that, and we'll come back at the end of row 36 so that we can join it into a hood and be done. Okay, just finished row 36, and now I'm ready to join this guy. It says to put the right sides facing together. Can you tell what the right side and wrong side is? I can't, so just put whatever side facing together. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a single crochet join, which creates a very nice secure join. You can also do a slip stitch join, or you can fasten off and do a whip stitch join, all kinds of stuff. But I'm going to do a single crochet join just because I want to. So I'm lining up the stitches to match. So you can see I have kind of that smaller hole, which is the half double, and then the bigger, which is the slip stitch. And then I'm going to start doing my single crochet. So I'm just going to go right in. I'm not even going to chain one because this is a join, not an actual stitch row. And I'm going to bring up my loop and just single crochet. Do not pull down on them. You do not want them super tight. So then I'm going to go to my next one, which is that half double, pull up, single crochet. Whoops. As long as I don't lose it. And you should be even because you had even stitches. So again, remember, like, this is not the 2 loops you're working under, these are the 2 loops. So don't catch that. That's that same little loop that you have all the way down that you don't want to lose. So get that one. And where did I go? Where am I? Here I am. And pull up. And the great thing is if you mess up on this join, backwards here, if you mess up when you're joining, because it's a single crochet, you just rip it out and go back to where you think you should be at and keep going. You don't have to, you know, unstitch things, try to find, because this is definitely a yarn that would be difficult to find where the actual string is if you were like whip stitching. So I highly encourage you to either slip stitch or single crochet join this guy. Where's my top? Here's my top 2. So continue that across, and then we'll have just a little bit more to finish this off. Okay, here I am at the last 2 stitches. You could technically stop here, but there are 2 more, so I'm just going to do that very last bit. Do this very last bit, and then fasten off. So we still have 1 more round to go. I have scissors right here. But I like this join because it gives it like just a nice flat edge, gives it a little bit more character when you flip it inside out because it's got a little bit of substance to it, so it makes the hood kind of stick up just a bit. So now we're going to turn this guy inside out to do our very last round. And the last round is going to be in the hood. So this is kind of like an unfinished edge. We want this to look cuter, so we're going to do just a round of HDC around it to make it look better. So to do that, in the pattern it tells you to join with a slip stitch and chain 2 and half double crochet. I'm going to show you a standing half double crochet that you can use instead. So I'm going to start just right here in this spot, and we're working along the side, so there's not specific places to work into, so you're going to have to just use your best judgment and keep it spaced out. So I'm going to enter in here, pull up a loop. So I yarn, let me back up here, I'm skipping a step here. Hold on to your tail, because when you yarn over it just flips. So hold on to your tail, yarn over as if you're gonna half double crochet, insert your hook in, keep holding onto that tail, pull up your loop, so make sure you have 3 loops, and then pull through. So you start off right with a half double crochet and you don't have any ugly chain 2s or slip stitches. Then I'm going to work my way around doing half double crochets. So I'm just going to try to space this evenly. If it's even, it should lay nice and flat. If it's pulling, I have too few stitches, back up, add some extra stitches. If it's ruffling, I have too many stitches, so back up and spread them out more. So use your best judgment as you're going around. Try to space them out evenly, take your time, and work your whole way around. And then when you get back here, you'll just join to finish that off. So we'll meet up right at the end. Okay, I just did my last stitch. Now I'm going to join with a slip stitch in that first stitch. And I'm going to fasten off. And now I'm technically done after I weave in my ends, but what you can do, let's flip this around. So now our hood has like a nice little finished edge with the V's running down it. You can see how the single crochet join looks, so pretty much invisible. And now what you can do is add your decorative buttons down here if you'd like. So try it on without the buttons, see how you feel about it. And then if not, you know, get some good, I think they were like 2-inch buttons on my gray one. I'll see how I feel about this with or without the buttons. So you'll see in the pictures what I think. But hopefully you enjoyed making this. I would love to see what yarn you're using, what colors. Be sure to tag me. All my socials are in the description. But I am Deja with Knit and Crochet Ever After, and thank you for watching.